I've been writing for about 35 years now, and my first book for children came about as a result of a game that I was playing with my children, and the game was about a dare. If you lost the game, you had to pay a forfeit, and I was the first to lose the game, and my eldest daughter said, "Write us a story as a forfeit." And I thought, well, I might be able to do that. I could write 2 pages, like a Aesop's fable or something, a little tiny piece. And then I thought, no, my eldest daughter at the time was a new stepdaughter, and I thought maybe it would be something that would help us bond. And so I began writing, and I would never have continued writing if it hadn't been for my husband, who is the writer in the family, or at least has been for many years. And he just kept saying, it's a sweet idea, just keep the pages going, keep it growing. And I did, with his encouragement, which is why I wrote for so many years under the name Julie Edwards. And then gradually it became Julie Andrews Edwards. And then people didn't know whether to ask for a Julie Andrews book or a Julie Edwards book. And so eventually I stuck with Julie Andrews. But thanks to my husband and his encouragement, I began to write and so enjoyed it, and gave the book to my daughter, Jenny, and then wrote another one, and then a little thing called Life Got in the Way. And do you want to take it from there, how we began?
Well, we were about 12 years ago. I was and continue to be an arts educator, and my son, who was 1 at the time, had been born and was a great part of our lives. And my mom was asked by her publisher if she had ever considered writing for a younger audience, because her first 2 novels were middle grade, YA-ish. And she said, well, let me think about it. And she came to me and she said, you know, if you were looking for something for Sam, but maybe we're having trouble finding it, or, you know, wished it existed, what would it be? And because he was so passionate about trucks, and I mean, to the exclusion of all else, I said, no contest. It would be something about trucks, but something that had substance to it, and had perhaps, you know, was character driven and had a little theme and so forth. And
Which
wasn't
you couldn't
just,
find, could
which
you?
I was having trouble finding, yeah. And so we set about trying our hand at writing a truck book together that was character driven, and it became such a labor of love and such a wonderful extension of our relationship.
We weren't sure that we'd be compatible at first. We thought maybe we're both fairly bossy individuals.
But I will also say, Maria, because you asked about specifically why we're interested in writing for young people, and I will say that I think your work has really, most of your life, revolved around young people in one way or another, as a performer, as a writer, you know, all the many things you do as an advocate.
Yes.
You know, so that has been a theme in your life even before you started writing for children. I think they've been
before
a
I
part
even
of your
really
life.
knew it was, in a way. It was something that happened, and everything evolved out of that. In a
Maybe
way.
Because you were a great big sister.
Yes, I was the eldest, and, a big bossy sister. Yes.
And for me, I think, you know, I was originally a theater person, a producer, director, actor, but I had turned to books a great deal as a child myself, as a source of companionship and inspiration and learning and comfort and all of those great things that books can be. And so at a certain moment in my life, actually the moment being when I had my own children,
It's amazing what
it
that
is
can
amazing
do,
what
isn't
that
it?
does.
Yes.
My work in the theater began to shift more towards young audience type of work and education programs for children, arts education programs. And I think the segue to writing for kids was kind of natural from there, because it was such an important part of my life as a kid. I wanted to be able to contribute that to my own kids and other kids as well.